Hello, I'm Frost and welcome to my sci-fi gaming update for February 2020. So, anybody who works in the entertainment or leisure industry will know that no one spends any money on these activities in the month of February, and therefore there are virtually no new releases. I had a good look and could not find anything that was sci-fi related of any note. If you know anything, then please post it in the comments, but it does look pretty dire for February. Things start to pick up in March, and then obviously by April then we will be on a good roll by then. So I have other pieces of news though. First up is obviously Cyberpunk's been delayed. This has all been big news already, so I don't need to go into detail about it. 17th of September is the new date. The game is apparently finished. They just want to do some QA, make sure that there's no little bugs floating around and everything, and just want to make sure that the game is properly polished before it comes out. And that is all there is to say about it. We just have to wait a little bit longer. It just gives you a bit more time to save up for that 2080 Ti, right? Then one game I did miss in January though, that came out at the end of January on the 28th, so literally just a few days ago, is Journey to the Savage Planet. Now, how can I describe this? It seems to be No Man's Sky meets The Outer Worlds with a bit of Ratchet and Clank thrown in. So very goofy, very oddball. I haven't actually played it yet. I'm considering it. And the only reason why I'm kind of a little bit guarded is clearly it is very comedy based, and it does seem kind of a bit toilet humor at times, and that's not necessarily my cup of tea. I would like to hear if anybody's already played it. Give me your comments. But I think it can also be very cultural. I think if you're more American, then the humor may be more to your style. But if you're kind of more European, or especially Eastern European, I don't know if that's going to work so much. But I'm going to give it a go, and I will try and download it and play it in February, and hopefully I'll enjoy it. But it does seem to be, a good romp. Just sit back, play it with a controller, relax, and just go with the flow. But anyway, Journey to the Savage Planet came out on the 28th of Jan, and I believe it's PC, Xbox, and PS4. Now, moving on, Kerbal Space Program. So clearly Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out in March, but the original Kerbal Space Program is releasing a 1.9 update called No Place Like Home. And it's not a big update, but I wanted to bring it to your attention anyway. The main sort of new item is a drain valve, which is going to allow you to empty things like propellant and stuff out of containers. So it's great if you want to lose weight before a landing or something like that. So that's kind of the new module. The rest of it is kind of revamps. So we've got the mainsail and the skipper engines have kind of been revamped, given a new look, and they've got sort of variants of them as well now. And then the booster rocket has just had a sort of a makeover as well. So not really much has changed. There's some quality of life stuff as well. So for example, you can now got a new camera mode, so you can take some really cool sort of clips and stuff for your YouTube channels and things like that. And there is also a change to the rotor blades. So the rotor blades came in the Breaking Ground DLC, and they've added some controls, some cyclic controls and stuff for the rotor blades. So creating drones and stuff and be able to fly them should now be much easier. So there you go. So Kerbal has had an update, and it's 1.9, so obviously 1 before 2. So I would expect that it will come out this month. It was announced literally just a few days ago in January. And obviously as Kerbal Space Program 2 is coming out in March, it's going to probably come out this month. And I would imagine it's going to be very, very soon. So keep an eye out for that. On another note with Kerbal Space Program, the merchandise is now available for international shipping. So for people like me that don't live in the US, that is good news. But I have to say that I do expect, or I'll be extremely disappointed if my Jeb t-shirt does not arrive by having a Kerbal crash land on my front garden. So we'll have to see. But that is my expectation for my Jeb t-shirt. Right, moving on, EVE Online. So EVE Online, they've revamped their starter packs. So if you haven't played EVE Online before and you're just starting out, be aware that they've got some good deals on their starter packs. You get playtime, you get some skins, and you also get some plex, that you can use to buy stuff or use skill injectors and all that kind of stuff. So they brought out some new packs just to bring it to your attention. Other pieces of news with CCP, who are the makers of EVE Online, that they're advertising on Twitter that they're opening up a studio in London and they're looking to recruit new people, new devs for a new MMO. So I don't know whether this is one of the things they've talked about on the EVE FanFest or EVE World Tour, or if this is something completely new. So I'm just going to let you know, and I'm keeping an eye out for that. But it'll be interesting to see where CCP are going with this. And then the last piece of EVE Online news is you may have seen it, the headlines that somebody paid $30,000 for a internet spaceship, specifically the Gold Magnet. Now, the person that purchased this ship was Scott Manley, who's a very well-known YouTuber, and he didn't actually pay $30,000. The way that it worked is that he had that equivalent sum in the currency of EVE Online, which is ISK, or in Plex, which is kind of the bundled version of it. And he had acquired this fortune through the market manipulation that Goonswarm did a few years back. And so he had all this in-game money, and you can't actually convert that into cash. But the whole idea was for the Australian relief and Australian support, CCP said they would turn Plex that was donated into cash. And so what's happened is that the money from Elon's ship, who he put up for, donated towards this auction, and Scott Manley bought, it's been turned into 30,000 actual dollars and then donated to charity. And the reason why this $30,000 figure is bandied around is because if you were to come into the game and actually try and buy the currency, because you can buy in-game currency, it would cost you $30,000. So just to kind of clear that up, and then to sort of take away some of the sort of the headlines that are not slightly misleading, shall we say. Now, I'm going to come on to Interstellar Prime. I haven't got much to say about Interstellar Prime, but because I haven't had a chance to play it, I have downloaded it. So in my last update, you'll recall that I said that they said they would publish it on December 31st of 2019, and it wasn't there on January the 1st. They actually did publish it on December 31st, but they were not aware that Steam needed to do some quality assurance, malware checks, all that kind of stuff. And so Steam didn't actually let it go live until January the 6th. And I have now downloaded it. And I'd like to say thank you very much to Dreamcatcher Studios, who are the developers of Interstellar Prime. They did send me a Steam key after that. And I will be looking at it properly a little bit later on. And I will try and do some coverage of it. But it's very early access. But it's up and running, and I have played it for about half an hour, and it looks good. It's very pretty. I'll give it that. And they're trying to bring out the sandbox mode any day now, so that should be coming out on Steam very, very soon as well. But they're only a small team, and they've got their work cut out. But I'm interested to see how they do. So I'm going to be following that one closely. Right, moving on to Phoenix Point. Now, Phoenix Point I mentioned last month, or in the December update, I think. And I finally got around to starting releasing some videos. So I've got episodes 1, 2, and 3 of my beginner's guide up. I've got some beginner tips to do, and then I'm going to cover the unit classes and stuff like that. I also plan to go back to Planetfall and release some Planetfall videos, and I haven't done a few in a while, and people like it when I do that. But staying on Phoenix Point, they did a couple of updates this month. Last month. 16th of Jan, they did the Dunwich update, which was a balance pass, and essentially they kind of nerfed all the abilities because all the abilities were a bit OP. They then improved the grenade launcher because it wasn't doing as much damage as it could, and it wasn't very effective, and now it's much better. And I think it's also the Phoenix Point units, the assault rifle and the sniper weapon have been improved as well. And then there's been some bug fixes. And then there was another update whose name I can't remember, it's Miskatonic or Miskatonic was the update on the 31st of Jan, and that is literally just saw it today, and that is just purely bug fixes. But Phoenix Point, after the balance pass, I have to say it's very playable, and hopefully you'll have a look at my beginner's guides and see if it's to your liking. Then to close off, Industries of Titan, I mentioned in my sci-fi games of 2020. It was originally going to be released in 2019. It really looked like it was going to be 2020. It's now going to be 2021 according to Steam, so I am going to stop talking about it. So you will not hear me mention it again this year unless something dramatic changes and they bring the schedule forwards. And finally, to close off, something that isn't gaming related but may be to your liking, is I want to recommend DUST. Now, if you don't know about DUST, DUST is a YouTube channel that features short films that are sci-fi based. And they make for good watching. Some of them are 5 minutes long, some about 15 to 20 minutes. And the variety in there is incredible. The quality of some of these productions are unbelievable. You know, quite a few of them are sort of tasters for studios to allow them to get budget for actually a main production. And they're very enjoyable. Not all of them make sense. Some of them very much leave you guessing, but I highly recommend DUST. So if you're not following or subscribed to that channel yet, then please do so. And that wraps up my February update. I hope you enjoyed that. If you like what I do, then subscribe. If you don't, then dislike, and otherwise like. And please hit the bell icon if you want to be notified of new updates, as I do try and release regularly. All right, thank you very much, and see you soon. Bye.